Hello students, this is your physics teacher and welcome to my online physics class. Today we are here to give the revision of the current electricity chapter. So without further ado, let's start. The first thing is the property of the electric charge. What are the property of electric charge? You must know that electric charges are of two types, positive charge and negative charges. Positive charge and negative charges. And you know very well that positive, what happens? Positive, they always repel each other. Similarly, two negative charge, they always repel each other. But two unlike charge, that is one is positive and the other one is negative, then in that case there will be always attraction. Okay, so remember all these things. So unlike charge attract and the like charge repel each other. The next thing is that this is related with the conservation of the charge. Electric charge is always conserved, just like the energy is conserved. In the same way, electric charge is always conserved. And the next thing is that electric charge are quantized. Quantized means that whatever be the charge that you are able to locate or see on any body, okay, or find on any body, then that charge will be quantized. Means there is a one smallest charge and the given charge will be the multiple of that smallest standard charge. Here that smallest standard charge is the charge present on an electron. The charge on an electron is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. Remember this thing, the unit of charge is coulomb and charge is a scalar quantity because it doesn't need any direction. So if there will be n number of electron, then the charge will be equal to Q is equal to Ne. If there will be n number of proton, then it will be positive, and if the number of electron we are concerned, then it will be negative because the charge present on an electron is negative. So next topic. The next topic is what is the SI unit of charge? So I already told the SI unit of charge is coulomb, but coulomb is a very big unit. We use some smaller unit like millicoulomb, microcoulomb. Remember, milli means 10 to the power minus 3. Milli means 10 to the power minus 3, and micro means 10 to the power minus 6. So wherever if you found milli or micro, you can simply put 10 to the power minus 3 or 10 to the power minus 6. So there is one problem. What is the number of electron in the 1 coulomb of charge? So charge is 1 coulomb. Okay. Now we know very well from the quantization of charge, that is Q is equal to Ne. So from here we will try to find out the value of N. N will be equal to Q by E. Just put the value of Q, that is 1, and the value of the charge on an electron and that is known as electronic charge, and which is equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19. So if I put the value, I am getting 6.25 into 10 to the power 18. That's a huge value. It means that this number of electron together they constitute 1 coulomb. The next thing is that what is potential? Potential is generally a condition which determines the direction of flow of charge. Just like I will say that if I have a wider cylinder and the other one is smaller cylinder and they are both connected. Now there is a partition and there is a cork, or you can say there is a path, but right now the path is closed. So here you are finding that the water level on the wider cylinder, and this one is the narrow cylinder. So wider cylinder has more amount of water, but the water level is less, but the narrow cylinder is somewhat the water level is at higher level, but the quantity of water is less over here. But whenever this outlet, or sorry, whenever this path is actually made clear and water is allowed to mix with each other, that in that condition the water will go from tell me, it will be from narrow to wider cylinder, because we know very well from the very beginning, from the class 6 onward, we know that water find its own level. So whenever water remains at higher level, okay, it goes down, and the level of water, if it is somewhat less in some other container, then it will go upward, and the transfer of liquid will continue till they both reaches the common height. Same is with the potential difference. This height is proportional to the potential, okay, and the amount of water is analogous to the charge. So if I give charge, the potential rises, but it doesn't mean that its potential will be high. More charge, if it is present on any substance, then it will be at a higher potential, we cannot say. So the condition is that current will flow, or the charge will flow from higher potential to the lower potential. Which charge? Positive charge will flow from higher potential to the lower potential. So it just gives an indication of the direction of the flow of charge. So electric potential, you know very well, it's a scalar quantity, okay, it's not a vector quantity, and it's just a condition, an electric condition which determines the flow of charge, and the charge will always flow from higher potential to lower potential, provided the charge is positive. Now the next thing is that electric potential, the other definition is that it is the amount of work done in moving a unit charge from infinity to that point. So simply this is the expression, work done. Work we have to do, if I bring a charge from infinity to certain point, then we have to do some work, and work done per unit charge, that is known as the V. That is, V means electric potential. If there were 2 points, let us suppose A and B, and the potential at A is VA and the potential at B is VB. This is the initial position, this is the final position. So the potential difference will be equal to VB minus VA. Same here, we can write like this, W by Q. If W amount of work has been done to carry the unit positive charge or carry the charge Q from point A to point B, then W by Q will be equal to the potential difference, that is VB minus VA, which is final potential difference minus initial potential difference. The SI unit of electric potential is 1 volt. Remember these things. 1 volt we can write like this: 1 volt is equal to 1 joule divided by 1 coulomb. If the charge is 1 coulomb, and to carry the charge 1 coulomb of charge from one point to another point, we have to do 1 joule of amount of work. We have to perform 1 joule amount of work. Then the potential difference will be called 1 volt. So this is the things. Potential difference I already discussed. Potential difference between 2 points is the amount of work done in moving a unit positive charge from one point to another point. Whenever we talk about the movement of charge, we will be more concerned about the positive charge. Okay, unit positive charge, here it is a test charge. Remember, unit positive charge. The next thing is here, the electric current. I is equal to Q by T. Electric current is the rate of flow of charge. Current is a scalar quantity. It's not a vector quantity because it doesn't obey other laws of the vectors, like laws of vector addition is not obeyed by the electric current, and this is why electric current cannot be called a vector quantity. It has a direction, it has a magnitude, but it cannot be called a vector quantity because there are some other condition which needs to be followed, which needs to be obeyed by the electric current if it is to be vector quantity, like vector addition, vector subtraction, commutative law of vector addition. So we can say that vector addition is now, we can say that electric current is not a vector quantity. If it is not a vector quantity, then it should be scalar quantity. So the SI unit of current is ampere, and similarly we can write like this, that 1 ampere is equal to 1 coulomb divided by 1 second. If the rate of flow of charge through any cross section of the wire, let us, okay, through any cross section of the wire, this is the cross section, through any cross section of the wire is 1 coulomb per second, then we say that the current strength is 1 ampere. Simple. Next is what is called open circuit, what is called closed circuit. So let me draw one figure, what is open circuit and what is closed circuit. A typical circuit is like this. This is the battery or power source. Then we apply a key over here. Then this is the variable resistance, and arrow sign would be over there. Now I keep one resistance over here, and across the resistor a voltmeter has been connected. It is not the necessary part, but to just find out the potential difference, we have connected a voltmeter. Voltmeter is just another form of the galvanometer, but it has a very high resistance and it should be always connected in parallel. And to measure the current, I connect the ammeter. And the ammeter is connected to this rheostats. Okay, remember this one is ammeter, this one is the rheostat. Rheostat is a type of variable resistance, and this one is voltmeter, and this one is key. So when key is closed, that time, and this one is battery, and when the key is closed, that time the circuit is known as closed circuit. But when the key is open, or at any one places, if the wire is cut or it is not continuous, then the circuit will be known as open circuit. In the open circuit, no current will flow, but in the closed circuit, current will flow through each element of the circuit. Here the elements, ammeter, voltmeter, these are all the elements, rheostat, resistance, R. So sometimes you have to draw a typical electric circuit consisting of all these points like a voltmeter, ammeter, key, rheostats. So I drawn one figure. Drew one figure. Next is it is about the difference between the voltmeter and ammeter. Ammeter is used to measure the current, voltmeter is used to measure the potential difference. Remember this thing, that voltmeter it has the very high resistance, and that's why it is connected in parallel. Similarly, ammeter it has a very low resistance, that's why it can be connected in series. It is connected in series generally. And this, at least 3 point is enough for difference. Next is, there is some numerical problem. You just go through it on your own. I'm not going to in more detail, but I will say that, see, the formula is here, I is equal to Q by 2. The formula is here, Q is equal to NE. The formula is V is equal to W by Q. This is the formula. These are the formula that has been used. So ये फॉर्मूला जो है जितने सारे हैं इनको आप रिवाइज कर लीजिए, इसी पर ये बेस्ड है. The next is Ohm's law, and that one is very much important. See here, this one is also a typical electric circuit, and all the elements are here. It is being shown over here. So what does Ohm's law states? It states that if there is a current flowing through a conductor, then the potential difference between its two ends, let us suppose this one is the conductor. The potential difference between its two ends is proportional to the current here, it is denoted by the letter I, current passing through it, provided the temperature and other physical factors remaining constants. What are the other physical factors? Other physical factors means that like temperature, like length of the wire or the rod, like the area of cross section of the rod, like material of the rod. So all these factors, if it is remaining constant, then we can say that V is proportional to I. When V is proportional to I, and if I remove this variation constant, I will get a constant, and that constant is known as R, proportionality constant, and better known as resistance. So from here, if I take out the value of R, then I will get R is equal to V by I. R is equal to V by I. So R resistance is just the ratio of the potential difference and the current. Now this is the graph. Okay, this is the graph. This is the graph. You must remember this one. Okay, and you are finding that the graph is a straight line passing through the origin, and the slope here. If the potential difference is plotted along the y-axis and the current is plotted along the x-axis, then this angle will be theta. Let us suppose then tan theta will be equal to V by I, and we know very well that V by I is equal to simply R. So must remember, the slope of V versus I simply gives the value of R. But if the graph will be I versus V, that is I is plotted along the y-axis and V is plotted along the x-axis, then the slope will be equal to 1 by R. Remember these things. Now what is the unit of R? That is, what is the unit of resistance? The resistance unit is omega, or you can say the symbol is omega, and the resistance unit is ohm. So R is equal to V by A. Sometimes we have to state the Ohm's law, and thereafter we have to define the resistance. So simply by saying that resistance is the property of the conductor to oppose the current, it will not work. You have to say that R is equal to V by A, that is the ratio of the potential difference between the two ends of the conductor and the current passing through it. So R is simply is equal to V by A. Simply to get the value of resistance of 1 ohm, the potential difference would be 1 volt and the current should be 1 ampere. This is the very simple definition of the 1 ohm resistance. See here, same things. Now this is one picture, and here you are finding that verification of Ohm's law has been demonstrated. So first of all, This is a activity based work, and it is somewhat important from the exam point of view. So don't ignore this topic, verification of the Ohm's law. So here there are altogether 4 battery sources, and they are all connected, but they are connected one by one. This is the resistance. Voltmeter should always be connected in parallel, ammeter should always be connected in series, and this is the key. So first of all, only one cell is connected. Only one cell is connected. Second time 2 cell is connected. Third time 3 cell is connected, and the fourth time all the cells are connected. And each time we will try to find out the current value. You know very well that I is equal to V by R. So simply voltage of or the EMF of any one cell is 1.5 volt, considering the resistance of the internal resistance of the cell to be negligible. That time I can say that the EMF is roughly equal to the potential difference given by the battery source, and we can write like this: I is equal to 1.5 by R for when one cells are connected. When 2 cells are connected, that time the voltage will sum up 1.5 plus 1.5, it becomes 3 voltage, 3 by R. Similarly, when we add 3 cells in series and we add it in the circuit, that time the current will be equal to I is equal to 4.5 divided by R. So here is a table, number of cells connected, it is written over here, and the current flowing, it is written over here. Now to get the value of the potential difference, we know that potential difference is 1.5, 3, 4.5, 6, because if 3 cells are connected, then the voltage will be 1.5 plus 1.5 plus 1.5, that will be equal to 4.5. Similarly, if 4 cells are connected, then altogether we will get 6 voltage, because these cells are in series combination. So we can just add their EMF or potential difference. So to get the resistance value, that is R is equal to V by A, we just do the calculation, and each time we are getting same resistance R. And if we plot the graph, our graph will be like a straight line passing through the origin. So if you are demonstrating all these things, that is very good, and I think that if this question comes, then it will carry 5 marks, I think so. Next, what are the factors on which the resistance depends? So resistance depends on the length, resistance depends on the area of cross section. Where area of the cross section of the conductor will be high, then the resistance will be less. This means that if there are 2 wires and one wire is somewhat thick and the other wire is somewhat thin, then the thick wire will have the low resistance, because there is a inverse relationship. So by joint variation theorem, you can write R varies L by A. When variation sign is removed, a constant will come over here, that is rho, and this rho is known as resistivity, and the other name is a specific resistance. The unit of rho is ohm meter. The SI unit is ohm meter. And how it is defined? Let us take a cube, an unit cube, and the resistance offered by the any 2 opposite sides of the unit cube will give the rho. That is will give the specific resistance. And the next is material of the conductor. Resistance also depends on the material of the conductor. The most suitable conductor is the silver, and the second most is copper, and so on. There are number of materials. So the resistivity or the resistance of any material is also depending on the material. And here see, the unit of rho is ohm meter. I already discussed. See the definition of rho. Resistivity of material is the resistance of a wire made of that material of unit length and unit area. If the length is unity and the area is unity, then we can say that it is a unit cube. So the resistance offered between the two opposite sides will give the rho. The fourth one is temperature. If the temperature rises, the resistance also rises, and there is a relationship. Resistance at T degree Celsius is equal to resistance at 0 degree Celsius multiplied by this 1 plus alpha T factor, where alpha is known as the temperature coefficient of resistance and T is the change in temperature, T2 minus T1. Simply we need to be somewhat concise, brief. We need to know we need not to know too much about the factors, temperature factors. Next, see here, the best conductor is silver because the resistivity is very less, and it is the power is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 8. Okay, order of 10 to the power minus 8 is very small quantity. These are the sums. Remember these things. Find the current drawn by the battery and the potential difference between A and B. See here, 5 ohm or 10 ohm, they are connected in parallel, and this one as a whole is connected in series. So the resistance between this one 5 ohm 10 ohm, it will be equal to resistance parallel combination, it will be equal to R1 R2 divided by R1 plus R2. So just put all these value, you will get 3.33 ohm. Now they together constitute 3.33 ohm. Now this 3.3 ohm and this 5 ohm, they are in series. So simply I added series connection. In series combination, simply we add the resistance. So 5 ohm and 3.33 ohm, when added we will get 8.33 ohm. Similarly, now I can find out the value of the main current. I is equal to V by R. We know that the potential difference is here 5 volt. Just put the value of V 5 volt in the numerator, and in the denominator this is R. R is here 8.33. We get the current. And if I need to know the potential difference between A and B, simply we know that V is equal to IR. So we got the value of I is equal to 0.6 ampere, and we know the resistance 3.33. So 0.6 in, and when it is multiplied by 3.33, it is roughly equal to 2 volt. So 2 volt is the potential difference between the resistance between the point A and B. You can say that across the resistance 3.33 ohm. Resistance generally consume the voltage, and you can say that voltage is just like a food. All the resistance need food. So if 2 volt goes to this resistance, then the other 3 volt will go to this 5 ohm resistance. Similarly, there are other sums. I will say that you go across all the problem. Here in each branch we need to find out the value of the current. The potential difference across each resistance is 5 volt, because in parallel combination potential difference remains same. So simply by dividing the individual resistance, by dividing this 5 volt with the individual resistance R1 and R2, we are getting the current in each branch, and on adding we will get 3 ampere. So that is the total amount of current or main current. Heating effect of electric current. This is one of the important topics. And see here, earlier I told you that V is equal to W by Q. V is equal to W by Q. That is, if the charge Q is brought from infinity to a point, then the amount of work done per unit charge, that is W by Q, will give the potential at that point. Or in terms of potential difference, if the work done, if the amount of work done is W to carry the Q charge from one point to another point, then work done per unit charge, that is W by Q, will give the potential difference. So on cross multiplication we will get W is equal to VQ, but we know that I is equal to Q by T. So just on cross multiplication we will get the value of Q. Q will be equal to IT. I is the current and T is the temperature. So see here, W is equal to VIT. Okay, this is the relationship. So whenever current is being passed through a conductor, the conductor becomes somewhat hot, and this is known as heating effect of electric current. Again I am saying, whenever current is passing through a conductor, the current becomes hot after some time, and this is due to the amount of energy consumption, because the wire has some resistance, and that amount of heat is actually W is equal to VIT. That amount of heat is equal to W is equal to VIT. So simply I am writing W is equal to VIT. Now again we know V is equal to IR. Simply put it, IR into I into T. Simply we will get I square R T. So W is equal to I square T. W, we replace the W with the letter H, where H indicating the heat in joule, I square RT. The unit of heat in SI system is joule. It is same as the unit of the work, because heat is a form of energy. Application of heating effect of current: electric toaster, electric water heater, electric iron, room heater. We will find the application of electric heater. And remember one thing, that the heating element, that is the wire, is made of nichrome or manganese or constantine tin, because of its high resistivity and high melting point. Because you know that if the wire will have the lower melting point, then it will get melted due to the temperature, and if the resistance will not be that much high, then the heat will not be developed to an appreciable value, and we will not get the desired amount of heat. So we generally use that material which have the high value of the resistivity, high value of the rho. So nichrome, manganese or constantine alloy, these are used to get the high value of resistance. Next is electric fuse. Electric fuse is just a safety device. Sometimes a very large amount of current is being passed, okay, due to some problem or misconnection problem. That time, if the large amount of current passes, the sensitive electronic devices or electronic appliances like fridge, television, they are very much costly. They may get damaged because of the high value of current, because they are meant only for a specified range of voltage, a specified fluctuation of the specified range of the voltage and current. Suddenly, if large voltage is developed across them, or if a large amount of current is being passed through that appliance may get damaged, and it will be a very much loss. So to protect them, we use the electric fuse, and it should be connected in series connection. It's just like a wire. I'm just drawing one figure. You know that there are two wires. So from one wire current easily passes, and the other wire is a thin wire having very low resistance. It should be low resistance. Electric fuse should be of low resistance, so that if somewhat big value of the current is passing through the wire, that wire will get melt, and of course if it is getting melted, then the connection will be stopped, and if the connection will be stopped, then appliances will be protected from being damaged. So electric fuse should always be connected in series connection. Remember this thing, series connection, and it should have the less resistance it should have the low melting point. So these are the characteristics of the electric fuse you need to know. The property of the property of the wire in the electric heater or electric iron is completely different with the property of the electric fuse. So remember these things. This is one another important topic, electric power. Power is equal to work by time. Power is equal to W by 2. Simply we will get, if H is equal to VIT, or you can say I square RT, then just divide the expression by T, we will get power. Power is equal to I square R, or we simply write like power is equal to V square by R. Or these two expression indicates the expression of powers. One another expression is P is equal to VI. Okay. The commercial unit of electric energy is BOT, Board of Trade Unit, and it is equal to 1 kilowatt hour. Please, I will say that don't think it is a unit of power. Kilowatt hour means power into time, and power into time is simply W, that is work. So it is the unit of energy, it is the unit of work. And the standard unit for the commercial purpose generally that is used is the BOT. Another name is 1 kilowatt hour. 1 kilowatt hour, when it is converted, kilo means, you know very well that kilo means 10 to the power 3, and hour consists of 60 into 60 seconds. So on multiplication we will get 1 kilowatt hour is equal to 3.6 into 10 to the power 6 joule, or you can say 3.6 into 3.6 mega joule also, you can say. Mega means 10 to the power 6, micro means 10 to the power minus 6. This is mega joule. You can easily find out the resistance of any bulb, very easily. Resistance of any bulb. Let us suppose you buy a bulb from the market, and on the body of the bulb it is written 60 watt and 220 voltage. Means that whenever it is connected with the 220 volt circuit, then it will glow with the power consumption of 60 watt, and per second it will consume 60 joule. So how to find out the resistance? We know very well that R is equal to V square by P. Simply put the value of V is equal to 220, so it becomes 220 square, and power is equal to 60. We will get 806 we are getting 806.67 ohm. So this is the resistance of the bulb. Similarly, in the same way, you can easily find out the resistance of any devices like fridge, television, and that way you can easily find out the resistance. This is another numerical problem based on this formula, T is equal to V square by R. So this is one graph between V and I, V versus I graph. You know very well that that V versus I graph, in the V versus I graph, the slope is equal to R. Slope is equal to R. So which one is having the higher value of resistance? So the line or the curve which is more close to the voltage will have the higher value of the resistance. So here you are finding the A curve, A line is very much close to the V. So we will say that the A will be of high value of resistance, and C will be of the least value of resistance. So this is of high resistance, and this is of low resistance. Thank you, and I will say that if you like, you can share it with other students. Thank you again.